Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syarifah Sefianti. I'm the English student of Semarang State University, major in English education. And today I would like to present my final project entitled Student Speaking Anxiety During the English Lessons, the case of the second grade students of SMAN Negeri 1 Arjawinangun. First is background of the study. One of the most concerning problems in learning speaking a foreign language is anxiety. Speaking anxiety is a natural thing for humans, which will felt with fear, worry, stress, which causes human emotion to become out of control. The researcher found that through this case, it became a beginning of this research that focused on the students' speaking anxiety in English lesson and evaluating the factors PLCAS of LCAS they harvest in speaking anxiety and look for obstacles also solution to learning English. And then research objective. This research is expected to help students to find out solutions to overcome speaking anxiety problems in learning English. This study includes students being obliged to find more information about the factors that influence their anxiety in speaking English in class and in public in terms of speaking English. Based on the background of the study and why I choose this topic, I propose the result problem. The student feel anxious about speaking in learning English and why. Then, what are the psychological barriers the student feel when learning English, especially speaking at SMAN. And the second about review of previous studies and analysis speaking anxiety through selective error correction. The researcher explained that the student study Indonesian EFL have like to practice speaking in the class and real life so that resulting in their poor speaking skill. Student causes to experience anxiety in speaking English and how teacher can support and motivate students to overcome their anxiety in speaking English. And then analysis of student speaking anxiety in academic speaking class. The researchers stated student and teacher can create a positive classroom climate to overcome student fears. And then theoretical background study. From the research, 2008 explained that speaking requires presentation of speech, including the degree to which the speaker organizes information into intelligible sequence, use of discourse markers, repetition, intonation, and etc. And then about speaking anxiety. According to McClyder and Gardner, 1991, the effect is anxiety in language learning is not accurately captured by the concept of trait and state of anxiety. And the last, foreign language anxiety. Harris and Cope 1986 also mentioned that students who are afraid of learning a foreign language exhibit avoidance behavior such as avoid skipping class and postponing assignment to relieve anxiety, avoid freezing during a presentation, avoid standing outside the door trying to muster up your courage to go to class, and avoid being deadpan before an exam begins. And the next slide is theoretical from studies. The researchers use speaking anxiety and then also speaking anxiety in English lesson and speaking barrier in English lesson. And the study get solution to students speaking anxiety in English lesson. About research methodology, this research, the method of this research was qualitative approach, and then method of data collection, The researcher used observation, interview about questionnaire, and then documentation. And method of data analysis, data reduction, and then data presentation, and conclusion drawing. Next slide is findings. About student speaking anxiety, according to observation conducted with English teacher at SMAN Negeri Arjawinangun with students, in order to find out do students feel anxious about speaking and learning English and why. Then the following results are obtained. The first, speaking material has been implemented in English language learning and has been implemented well in accordance with instruction and direction from the government to consider with the implementation of the 2013 curriculum at SMAN Negeri Arjawinangun. The only source of learning is through the teacher explanation in class. They also only have worksheet, textbook, and other supporting material because learning process use conventional models and methods, namely lecture, discussion, presentation, and question and answer. The second, in speaking material in English learning, students often feel nervous, lack self-confidence, lose words when speaking English, are afraid of being ridiculed by their friends, and are afraid of making mistakes because they are not good at expressing the idea that will be conveyed. And then Harris et al. Questionnaire regarding the foreign language classroom anxiety scale based on the theory of Harris et al. Then the following results are obtained. The first, researcher found a type of communication apprehension anxiety, where researcher found that when students were ordered to appear in front, they felt trembling and anxious. From the look on their face, they felt panic when their names were called to speak in front of the class. The second, researcher found a type of anxiety, fear of negative evaluation. This anxiety, some students are afraid that their friends will make fun of them or laugh at them. The third, researcher found a type of anxiety. This anxiety, namely that students have a psychological condition where when facing a speaking test, they kept thinking that other students always feel better at speaking English, and it turns out they feel their heart beating very fast when called on to speak English. From the finding barrier in learning English, based on the result of observation and interview conducted, the obstacles in implementing English language learning include barriers to providing motivation to learn. This is because many students think that learning English is boring and tends to be monotonous, and learning that still use textbook is less varied and does not suit student needs. And then in the learning process, teacher use models and methods of conventional approaches, namely lecture, discussion, and presentation with questionnaire and answer. Apart from that, not all classes have adequate facilities to support learning activities. So this slightly hinders teacher from creating a comfortable and fair learning atmosphere. According to the English teacher, the only learning resource is to explain from the teacher in class, and they only have worksheet and textbook. To broaden student insight, teacher allows students to use their cell phone to search for reading material related to the material being taught. In the learning environment that occurs in the classroom, teachers pay attention to the condition of the learning environment that are not conducive and do not supporting English language learning. And also, teacher observe factors that could influence the learning environment, namely external factors such as noise, temperature in the classroom, and lighting. The last one is conclusion. Based on the results of observation and interview, conclusions can be drawn from research and discussion about students facing anxiety during the English lesson because of the certain grade student of SMAN Negeri Arjawinangun. Implements to enable students to understand speaking and learning English, even though students experience excessive anxiety about speaking. Students will be more enthusiastic and active during the learning process. However, in the implementation process, there were several obstacles related to the learning model, as well as research and media use, even though the English teacher has tried to calm the students' mood in the classroom and continued to stress out so that the learning process runs optimally and is on the target. In this way, students can apply to speak English learning without excessive fear. Teacher can quickly overcome several inhibiting factors and learning activities can cause well. Thank you. That's all about my presentation about my final project about students speaking anxiety during the English lesson, the case of the second grade student of SMAN Negeri 1 Arjawinangun. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.